Namaskar. Today's topic is Bessel's inequality and age per syllabus. This is for the students of MSc Maths 4th semester and the paper is Functional Analysis 4C 6th paper. So in this lecture, we study the orthonormal sets, Bessel's inequality and its applications. So first we define the orthonormal sets is this one. A non-empty subset EI of a Hilbert space H is said to be an orthonormal set if there are two conditions. The first one is that norm EI equal to 1 for all I, that is each EI is a unit vector, and the second condition that if I not equal to j, then inner product of the EI and EJ equal to 0. Thus, a non-empty subset of H is said to be an orthonormal set if it consists of mutually orthogonal unit vectors. Obviously, an orthonormal set cannot contain zero vector because norm of the zero vector is 0. So note that if H contains a non-zero vector x and if we normalize x by considering, then the set E is obviously an orthonormal set. So the meaning of normalizing is that this one, that if xi is a non-empty set of mutually orthogonal non-zero vectors in H, and if each xi are normalized by replacing each of them by ei equal to xi upon norm xi, then the set ei is an orthonormal set. So here by meaning of normalizing, that we replace each vector divided by its norm. Now we see the examples of an orthonormal sets. The first example is the subset E1, E2 and so on En of L to N, where Ei is the n tuple with 1 in the ith place and zeros elsewhere, is evidently an orthonormal set in the space L to N. The second example, that if En is the sequence with 1 in the nth place and zeros elsewhere, then the subset of the L2 is an orthonormal set in the Hilbert space L2. So we considered here two examples. One is from L to N and other is from L2. In the example 1, there are n tuples, and in the example 2, there are elements are of the sequence type or infinite tuple. Now we see the important theorem, the Bessel's, which is having two versions, that the one is for finite case and other is for infinite or countably finite set. So the first theorem tells us that Bessel's inequality for finite orthonormal sets. Its statement is that let E1, E2 and so on En be a finite orthonormal set in a Hilbert space H, and if x is any vector in H, then summation I varying from 1 to n x ei modulus square is less and equal to norm x square, and its second part is that x minus summation I varying from 1 to n x ei is orthogonal to ej for all j. So this Bessel inequality is this much, that summation of the inner product of x with ei and sum of them modulus square is less and equal to norm x square. So we are having the proof like this one. For the proof, we consider the vector y. So the value of vector y, we consider the vector y equal to x minus summation I varying from 1 to n x ei ei. Then we have norm of the y square equal to norm inner product y and we put the value of y. So this is x minus summation I varying from 1 to n x ei comma x minus this much. So by applying the linearity property of inner product, we expand this inner product in this way, that first term is xx minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei into ei comma x minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei bar xei and plus summation I varying from 1 to n summation j varying from 1 to n xei bar into ei ej. So applying expanding this we obtain after simplification using the property that ei ej equal to 1 when j equal to I and ei ej equal to 0 when j is not equal to I, and summing the above sum with respect to j. So we obtain this as norm x square minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei modulus square minus summation I varying from 1 to n modulus xei square plus summation I varying from 1 to n modulus xei square, and cancelling one term by other we obtain this as norm x square minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei modulus square. So now we know that norm of any element is always greater and equal to 0. Therefore, norm y square is greater and equal to 0. So from this above, we obtain that summation I varying from 1 to n modulus of the xei square is less and equal to norm x square. So in this way, we obtained the first result. Now for the second result, for each j where j is varying from 1 to n, we have x minus summation I varying from 1 to n ei comma ej equal to expanding this. We obtain that this is equal to xei minus summation I varying from 1 to n ei ej, and as above ei ej inner product is 1 when j equal to I and ei ej 0 when j is not equal to I. Then this will give us Kronecker delta ij for xej. So this x inner product xej minus xej becomes 0. Therefore we obtain that x minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei is orthogonal to each ej for all j varying from 1 to n. So in this way we have proved the Bessel's inequality and its result. Now we consider the second theorem. Let Ei be an orthonormal set in a Hilbert space H and X be any vector in H, then the set S equal to Ei such that X Ei is not equal to 0 is either empty or countable. So for all such Ei for which Xei is non-zero, this set is either empty or countable. So we prove this. For proof, for each positive integer n, consider the set Sn where Sn is equal to Ei such that x modulus of the xei square is greater than norm x square upon n. So the property of this set, that this set Sn contains at most n minus 1 vectors. Since if it is contains n vectors, then in that case summing this, that summation I varying from 1 to n xei modulus square is greater than n norm x square upon n equal to norm x square. This we denote as equation number 1. So this contradicts the Bessel's to the contradiction to the Bessel's inequality for finite orthonormal sets, that is summation I varying from 1 to n x ei modulus square is less than equal to norm x square. Therefore, the set Sn contains at most n minus 1 vectors. So, in this way, we obtain that each Sn is a finite set. So, let xei, no let ei belongs to S, then this implies xei is non-zero, however small may be the value of this xei modulus square. We can always choose n so large that modulus of the xei square is greater than norm x square upon n, and so that ei belongs to Sn. So in this way we can write that S is the union of the n varying from 1 to infinity Sn. So thus S has been expressed as a countable union of finite sets, and hence S is a countable set. Also, if X is orthogonal to Ei for all I, that is xei equal to 0 for all I, then the set S is an empty set. Hence, S is either empty or countable. So now we are having the theorem third, Bessel's inequality for general case. In the theorem 1, we have studied the Bessel's inequality for finite case. Here we go to infinite case. So let Ei be an orthonormal set in a Hilbert space H, and X is any vector in H, then summation varying from 1 to infinity. This summation for all Ei, that summation x ei modulus square is less than equal to norm x square. So this set ei may be finite, infinite, both the cases. So we will see this. So for the proof, let s equal to ei such that x ei is not equal to 0. Then by previous theorem, S is either empty or countable. So we will consider the separate cases. So case 1, that if S is empty, then xei equal to 0 for all I, and therefore summation xei modulus square equal to 0, and as we know that norm x is always greater and equal to 0, that is norm x square greater than equal to 0. Thus if S is empty, then summation xei modulus square is less than equal to norm x square. So now we consider the second case, that if S is non-empty, then again two possibility, that either S is finite or it is countably infinite. So first case we consider first choice, that S is finite. So in this case we can write S as a elements of S are E1, E2 and so on En for some positive integer n, and so summation of the xei modulus square equal to summation I varying from 1 to n xei modulus square. So this is less than equal to norm x square by Bessel's inequality for finite case. Now the second choice, that S is countably infinite. So let S be written as E1, E2 and so on En and so on. Now we define summation xei modulus square equal to summation n varying from 1 to infinity modulus xen square. So this sum will be defined if we can show that the series summation xen square n varying from 1 to infinity is convergent and its sum does not change by rearrangement of its term. So now by Bessel's inequality for finite case, we have summation I varying from 1 to n x ei modulus square less and equal to norm x square. As this result is true for each positive integer n, therefore it must be true if we will take here the limit, and in this case we have summation n varying from 1 to infinity x en modulus square is less and equal to norm x square. This we denote as equation number 1. Now this implies that summation n varying from 1 to infinity modulus x en square is convergent and all the terms of this series are positive, so it is absolutely convergent, and so that its sum does not change by rearrangement of its terms. So we can define this one, that summation x en modulus square equal to summation n varying from 1 to infinity x en modulus square, and this is less and equal to norm x square by equation 1. So this is the Bessel's inequality for general case. Now we prove that theorem 4 similar result as in the theorem 1, that if EI is be an orthonormal set in a Hilbert space H and X be any vector in H, then X minus summation X EI orthonormal EJ for all J. This is the theorem 4. So in this theorem, we proved that x minus summation x ei is orthogonal to each ej for all j. Proof is, let s equal to ei such that x ei is not equal to 0, then the following cases arises, that as before, that either s is empty or finite or countably infinite. So first case, that S is empty, that is xei equal to 0 for all I. Then x minus summation xei equal to x minus 0 equal to x. And so in this case we are to prove that xej for j, which is true by this equation 1. So this is the case for empty. Now, if S is non-empty, then two possibility, that either S is finite or it is countably infinite. So, for the first choice, that A choice, S is finite, then we can write S equal to E1, E2 and so on En for some positive integer n. And in this case, we can write summation xei equal to summation I varying from 1 to n xei. And so we are to prove that x minus summation I varying from 1 to n xei is orthogonal for each j ej for each j, which can be proved similar as in theorem 1. Now for the second choice, that S is countably infinite, and for this let S be written as S equal to E1, E2, E and so on, En and so on. So now we take Sn equal to define this Sn partial sum I varying from 1 to n xei. Then for m greater than n, we have Sm minus Sn norm square equal to summation I varying from n plus 1 to m xei, and this is summation I varying from 1 to n plus 1 to m xei comma summation j varying from n plus 1 to m xej. So taking this summation outside, opening this bracket, we obtained this as summation I summation j xei xej bar into ei ej inner product. and now summing this, we obtain this as I varying from n plus 1 to m xei modulus square. So this we denote by equation number 2. This by equation number 2. But we know that Bessel's inequality, we know that the series summation n equal to 1 to infinity xen is a convergent, and so as mn tends to infinity, we have I varying from n plus 1 to m modulus xei square is tends to 0. That is norm Sm minus Sn tends to 0 as Mn tends to infinity. So Sn is a Cauchy sequence in H which and H which is a complete. So there exists S belongs to H such that Sn tends to S. Now take S equal to summation n varying from 1 to infinity xen and now we define summation xei equal to summation n varying from 1 to infinity xen equal to s. So now this inner product x minus summation xei comma ej equal to x minus s. We have put here the value of s ej and this after opening xej minus sej. Therefore xej minus s, the value of s is limit sn. So this is limit sn ej and we take this limit outside. So we obtain that xej minus limit sn ej. This we denote as equation number 3, and now two possibility that either if x ej does not belongs to S, then by definition of S, x ej equal to 0. So we put this and S and ej equal to summation j I varying from 1 to n x ei ej. So this is summation I varying from 1 to n xei ej and this is equal to xej equal to 0. So by equation 3 this inner product is 0. Therefore the first vector x minus summation xei ei is orthogonal to this second vector ej. No second possibility that if ej belongs to S, then xej is non-zero by definition of the S. Also, Sn ej equal to summation I varying from 1 to n xei comma ej equal to xej. Therefore, limit Sn ej equal to xej. Hence, from 3, with the help of this equation 6, we get x minus summation xei ej equal to xej minus xej equal to 0 for all j. Therefore, the first term x minus summation xei is orthogonal to second term ej. So, in this way, the proof is complete of the theorem. So, today we have in this lecture we have seen the orthonormal sets, Bessel's inequality, and some examples and Bessel's inequality for finite case and for the countably infinite case. So, for more detail, students can see the any reference book on functional analysis. I am Dr. R.P. Somani, Associate Professor in Maths. Thank you.